If you're flying internationally anytime soon, you need to hear this. Americans are getting stopped at immigration over a passport glitch. It can literally ruin your entire trip. People are leaving the US with a perfectly valid passport, boarding their flight, landing overseas, and then immigration tells them their passport was either lost or stolen.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I wanted to share this with you. A couple of videos where, well, apparently there are Americans, our Americans, who said that their passports are being, well, they're saying that it's lost, stolen, invalid when they go to other countries. Now, there's a growing number of people who said that they want to leave America permanently because of what's going on with the administration, or they're just traveling places. And some people are saying, oh my God, what if I can't get out of the country I'm going to, or I have to come back to America because I can't stay, because they're claiming that my passport is invalid, and it's not. Okay, I'm going to share with you what's going on. There's one woman who said this is not true. Don't believe this is propaganda. These are made up stories that Americans are making to put fear in you. I don't know for sure what is true and what's not when it comes to this passport situation, but let's see what people have to say. But before I show you, this is one woman right here who left America because there's a growing number of people who are now saying the American dream is to leave America. And what they're seeing with ICE in Minnesota and all over the country, there are people saying, look, get your passport and leave the country. And now they're saying, oh my God, y'all can't leave the country because they're messing with your passports now.
So what made you decide to move to Portugal?
Well, I knew I wanted to get out of the United States, and I had done some research as to which countries survived World War I and World War II with the least damage. And Portugal was the answer to that question. And considering that we may be launching into World War III, sorry, Venezuela, I didn't vote for him, I think it was a good, safe choice.
So if y'all haven't heard, there have been multiple people that have reported that they have traveled abroad with their passport, and that when they've gotten to customs in that international destination, they've been told that Interpol has flagged their passport as though their passport was lost or stolen. The first video I saw on this is from a guy named Parker. He flew from the United States to Doha, Qatar to Bangkok, Thailand. And this is what happened.
And upon arrival, I go into immigration and I'm told that my passport is flagged as lost or stolen by Interpol. So in case you don't know, the only way that it can be marked as lost is if you yourself mark it as lost. You need your social security number, your birth certificate, you need all of your personal information to mark it as lost. I did not do that. So here I am, about as far away from the United States as I could possibly be, with an invalidated passport flagged by Interpol, International Police, to which I did not know about. I'm then told that I am not allowed to enter the country and I'm detained until I am back on United States soil.
But here's where it gets interesting, because Parker then reaches out to the respective parties and they tell him that his passport is not marked as lost or stolen.
So I contacted the Department of the State, like the Department of the government that's responsible for this, and they said they have no idea what I'm talking about. They've never heard of this situation before, and they tell me to go to another department. So I called the National Passport Information Center, and in their system, it's not marked as lost. There's no problem with my passport from the National Passport Information Center.
Now here's Marcy, who was flying to Rome, Italy, who had the same exact issue. However, she wasn't detained nor deported. She was actually allowed to go to the U.S. Embassy in Rome and get an emergency passport instead. I'm going to share a clip of her video, and both full videos are in the caption of my video. But I want y'all to understand how emergency passports work. In the event you lose your passport abroad, or it's stolen, or it's damaged, you can go to the U.S. Embassy and they can give you something called an emergency passport. Traditionally, it's only good for 1 year, and it is very thin. You're not going to be able to maximize using that passport. It's legitimately something to get you home. And no, it's not free. You got to pay for it. When you get back to the States, you're supposed to apply for a regular passport, give them your emergency passport, and they're supposed to swap it out.
Everything was normal. I was able to leave JFK with not a problem in the world. I landed in Rome. They tell me that there's an Interpol alert on my passport. They say that it was reported lost or stolen. Now, I'm a frequent traveler. I showed them other proof of my identity. I had my passport card. I had my license. I showed them literally everything I had. My birth certificate, I keep that on me. So I end up being able to go through customs, but I need to go to the embassy to get a new passport. So I am grateful that I'm able to go to the embassy to get this passport. As promised, I go to the embassy first thing Monday morning to deal with the situation, and they're able to tell me that in their system, somebody reported my passport as lost or stolen on an MTA bus back in November. Now, that person was not me. I made it very clear to the person, I don't take the MTA bus. However, I'm also a frequent traveler. Why would I have reported my passport as missing and then decided to go on a trip a month later? It was not adding up. And so she believed my story. I ended up having to swear this entire thing under oath because that is something you do at the embassy. And I was charged $165 and sent on my way with my emergency passport.
Let me make some stuff clear because I am so tired of these sensational lies on
Okay, so this woman is saying that this is all lies, that people are saying that our government is messing with passports so that you have to come back to the United States and you cannot stay in these other countries.
This app about the passport. I'm gonna tell you this. There's a lot of videos going viral of people saying that their passport has been invalidated. Let me tell you one thing: with a passport that has been invalidated has a paper trail. People be telling these sensational lies because they're embarrassed. They are not going to tell you the full truth of what happened. They're not going to tell you the truth of why they got deported. They're not going to tell you the truth on why they got arrested in a foreign country. They're not going to tell you the truth on these apps. I need to stop being gullible. Now, there's another person on here going around telling you to check the National Passport Information Service. The National Passport Information Service is just that, information. Information on your passport, application, information on your supporting documents, information on how to get things expedited. If you need some expedited, you can. It's a status system. It's a status system. You can report your passport lost or stolen with that system. Nothing more. They cannot authenticate. They cannot validate your passport. This is a tip that I'm gonna give you, and this is the last tip I'm gonna ever give on social media because y'all don't appreciate the truth. Y'all rather buy into comfort and then listen to the truth when it's uncomfortable. The truth is you can download the NPC app. That's the alternative to global entry. When you enter your information, it validates your passport. It tells you it's valid. It tells you it's valid. Y'all rather buy into comfort than listen to the truth. Y'all do. Y'all don't like truth trailers. Y'all said y'all want real, but y'all don't want real on here. I'm too real for any of these apps. That's the reason why my real ones actually follow me on Patreon. They're always ahead. The ones who buy my guides, the ones who book calls with me, they're always ahead because I have firsthand information from immigration attorneys all over the world on the ground. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying because from March of last year all the way up to now, I've built a whole network. I've facilitated relocations. I've also facilitated international transactions on property. It's my job. I'm certified. I have licenses. I would rather listen to someone who is not credentialed than someone who is credentialed and is actually doing the work. Look, I have a positioning briefing. If you want to position yourself on the wealthy side of things in this country, show up. If you don't, that's fine. If you always want to be ahead, Patreon. One thing about the wealthy, they always pay for access. They don't beg for it for free. Tools, calls, guides, all of that is on the link of my bio. You can either move now or continue listening to the sensational lies and being gullible.
So that's what she had to say, that this is sensationalized, that people are gullible. When you look, you can't look at things and believe it every time you see it on TikTok. You know, sometimes people make up stories. They're using AI. You need to go to a credible news source and see what they're saying. Research it if it's true or not. My thing is this: I think that it could be happening to some people, and for other people, they're not experiencing this. She said that these people are not telling you why they got it deported or having these issues, that they're making up things. I don't know for sure, but I do see a lot going on in our country, and baby, it just doesn't look good. And I can't say that something like this couldn't possibly happen to anyone. So look, let me show you some video clips of what people are saying who said that they had issues with their passports being, you know, oh, it's stolen now, oh, it's invalid now. There's nothing wrong with their passports, okay? Let's get more into it.
This is pretty big news in the travel world this week, so let me fill you in and give you my take. There have been 5 TikTok videos I've seen of people coming forward saying that they traveled outside of the United States and were stopped by Interpol, the international police, because their passports had been marked as stolen and therefore were invalid. They had to either return home or go to the embassy and get an emergency passport that day. But every single one of these people is saying, I have my passport, I've used it, I didn't mark it stolen. A guy who went to Thailand and had this happen to him said that he called the Department of State, called Homeland Security, the U.S. Passport Office. No one had any information, but from a TikTok comment, he was able to find out that his local passport office had been the one to mark it as stolen. And we don't know why yet. It's like happening this week. I'm seeing all these stories come out. I've seen a few reports say that it's clerical error. My take, my belief is that it is AI. I think that more companies and even the US federal agencies, which is insane, are using AI to do some of these things. And I think it's AI marking people's passports as invalid or stolen. And if you're wondering if you can check if your passport's valid before one of your upcoming trips, unfortunately, you cannot. The only way you'll find out is by traveling outside the country, which is when you perhaps least want to find that out. That's all the information I have. If it happens to you, all I can say is that you should know the process for getting an emergency passport from a nearby embassy. Look up the information before your trip and hope it doesn't happen to you. I hope it doesn't happen to more people.
You thought that blew your mind. Listen to this girl. Completely wiped out of the passport database. They don't even know who she is.
This video is not super fun to make. However, I was encouraged to make it by the office of my congressional representative, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. Someone or something in the Trump administration wiped my existence from the US passport database. Let me explain. On December 19th, 2025, I received a notice at 2:17 in the morning, local time here in Los Angeles, that my access to the Global Entry Traveler Program had been revoked. And the reason for my revocation was that I no longer met the requirements for the Global Entry Program. Now, the requirements are not having been charged with a felony, check, never been charged with a felony, having valid identification and documents, check, I have valid documents, my passport was not expired. And one of the last things on the eligibility list was not under investigation for terrorism. Well, that exact day, Pam Bondi sent a letter to the FBI requesting that pro-trans activists be labeled as domestic terrorists. I'm shaking. So, as many of you guys know, I am a pro-trans activist. I have worked with the ACLU during the US versus Scrimetti case. I have a trans partner. I have a trans sister. I'm very blessed to have many trans friends, and I have worked as a healthcare provider providing gender-affirming care for trans youth. And needless to say, I freaked the fuck out. I did also contact friends of mine who are attorneys and friends of mine who work in the federal government. And I was told there is a chance that this could have just been a clerical error. And so for the sake of my mental health, I just went with that. And they told me to go ahead and apply to renew my passport online and see what happens next. So last week I did just that. And I applied on the US passport website to renew my passport online as it expires this coming year. I was then told that no one with my identity was found anywhere in the US passport system. At this point, I got in contact with my congressional representative and his office, and was told by one of the field staff here in Los Angeles that this specific notice was unusual and that there had been a record of clerical errors where people had been removed from the passport system because their passport was incorrectly marked lost or stolen.
Now, if that doesn't make you go, what, how, who, I don't know what will. If it gets to a point you don't like what's going on here and you're vocal about what you don't like about what's going on here, they will make it where you can't even leave and you will have to deal with what's going on here. I'm saying, people, it's getting a little frustrating that people won't look at the bigger picture.
Attention to all American citizens. If you have any trips coming up where you're going to be flying overseas, out of the country, then this is a video you need to pay very close attention to. And why do I say that? Because there are alleged rumors that they are canceling people's passports. And I say allegedly, why? Because there are tons of videos that have been popping up all over social media with people claiming that their passports have been canceled and their lives have been completely ruined. And case in point, this article from the Daily Dot. Check out the caption. Third voided passport video I've seen. Americans are landing abroad only to learn their passports were quietly canceled. And that little joke right underneath there makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, it's nearly impossible to cancel a gym membership. And to make things even more crazier, all of the videos, if you watch them, they all have the same exact story. They go on vacation, they land in a foreign country, and they're told their passport has been canceled. And they didn't do the canceling. They are being...
I was deported from Thailand. And it's because the American system is failing you in a way that you don't even know about. So on December 28th, me and my girlfriend fly from Miami, Florida, to Doha, Qatar, to Bangkok, Thailand. And upon arrival, I go into immigration and I'm told that my passport is flagged as lost or stolen by Interpol. So in case you don't know, the only way that it can be marked as lost is if you yourself mark it as lost. You need your social security number, your birth certificate, you need all of your personal information to mark it as lost.
My my name is Marcy. I was supposed to be deported from Rome, but thankfully was not, and I'm going to go ahead and explain what's been going on with my passport in a non-vlog style video. So I originally did it in the form of a vlog because I thought that this is a hilarious situation. The circumstances are unbelievable. Like, who would this happen to?
Long story short, a bunch of people have now been coming out talking about how their passports, even though it's legitimate and everything is by the book, they have been deported from foreign countries and sent back to America because their passports have either been reported stolen or it has been voided. Remember, I made a video and I said, I believe, my theory, I have no proof, but I believe the Iron Curtain goes down after the World Cup. When the World Cup is over, that's when America will show its true face. It can't do that now because it needs all these people to come to America and we need their money. So it's either the World Cup this year or the Olympics next year, but one of the two, the Iron Curtain is coming down. And once it comes down, you will find out that wall in Mexico was never to stop the Mexicans from coming in. It was always to stop Americans from leaving. Don't forget, up to 5 Americans so far, 5 different Americans have gone to Canada to request asylum, only to get arrested by the Canadian police and sent back to America. So if you go to Canada thinking, oh shit, everything is scary, I'm gonna run to Canada, nope, Canadians will arrest you and send you the fuck back. Y'all don't understand what's going on. This is the time for second passports. By the way, black people, actually, there's no war in Boston State, black people. Don't worry about it. Black man, go do you. Go get those jeans. Go figure out which girl's gonna be your baby mama. Black girls, don't worry about it. Black man ain't shit. Go get you a white man, pasta lobster. Get that vacation. Everything is all copacetic, baby.
Emergency. I just called the phone number to try to check and see if my passport was marked valid with this whole thing of people's passports getting marked from lost or stolen and invalidating them. So I called the phone number. I'll put it here. I called the phone number just now to try to check on my passport and it wouldn't even ring. It wouldn't even dial through. I tried calling from multiple phone lines and the phone number wouldn't even ring through. Are you call this number right now and tell me if this is happening to you too? Maybe it's my phone, maybe it's my Wi-Fi, I don't know how, but the call is not even going through. Alarm bells, alarm bells, alarm bells, alarm bells, alarm bells. You guys need to leave. Some passports are getting through, not everyone's getting marked lost and stolen, but if you're trying to leave the United States, you need to get out fucking now. I go live every single night for multiple hours, helping people figure out for free how to get out of the United States and come up with a one-on-one plan. Get on a live with me because what the fuck, and also try to call this phone number. Is this just me? Oh my God.
This is why I say, do not travel unless you have an abundance of money. And when I say travel, I'm talking about out of this country. There are so many stories of people, and America screwing them, don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you how to take care of you. There's so many people talking about, I went abroad, I went here, I went there, and I found out that America canceled my passport, or it was reported lost or stolen, and da-da-da, and it's a clerical error from America, right? And then they have to go to the embassy, and they're like calling people for money because it costs like $300 to $500 to get whatever right to get back home. That, oh my God, what a night. I would be shaking with anxiety. My worst fear is going to another country to visit, have a good time, and being stuck. Being detained by some... oh my God. But listen, if it can all be cleared up for $500, oh my God, bro, take what you need, right? I remember making a video about how y'all romanticize going and staying at hostels and traveling the cheapest way possible and doing this and that, backpacking across countries where you don't know their language, all for the sake of saying you traveled somewhere and had an experience. And people were like, well, if you got to do it like that, you got to do it like that. All I was ever saying is get your money right before you leave home. Right? Don't go over there being an ugly American, right? There's some shit you got to get together before you leave this beautiful country. And that's one of them. Yo, if you don't have all the money you need to take the trips, have the stays and spend what you need to spend to get through, and a little reserve and some savings just in case you have an emergency and all that, don't leave the country. Go to Vegas, go to LA, go to New York, go to Miami, whatever. If you're in the country, you get back home, right? But do not leave this American soil if you don't have bread to get back if it all goes wrong. I would say for each person going, have $5,000 extra, right, that you're ready to spend to get home. That's all I'm saying.
If you're American and you have an international trip coming up, I know you're probably panicking right now if you've been seeing the viral videos of people saying that they went on vacation, they traveled, got to their destination, and then upon arrival, they found out that their passports were canceled, and it was not canceled by them. They were told that their passport was canceled because it was reported lost or stolen. See, the thing is, it's not easy to report it as lost and stolen. You have to go through a bunch of different steps. It's not a simple clerical error. And that can be terrifying real time because now you're in this country. You don't have anyone to support you and you don't have access. So people are reporting that they've been detained, they've been sent right back, or they had to rush to the embassy and then spend hundreds of dollars, 300 and upwards, to get an emergency passport on the spot. The reality of the situation right now, we do not know how often this happens because they don't keep track of how many times passports that have been reported stolen was correct or it was a false report. But we do know currently it is a growing problem. And people are wondering, is this a method of revenge or control? They don't want people to travel? As of right now, we know that there is one way that you can check. If you call the National Passport Information Center, I'm putting the information on the screen, they can assist you. Make sure when you're on the phone with them, you have your passport with you because they're going to ask you information. And you're simply calling to ask to see if your passport is currently valid or if it's been reported as stolen, just to make sure. They have the ability to check in real time. However, there is another rumor right now on TikTok that if you send in an FOIA request, that they can also assist you. Just to be clear, that request is for if your passport is canceled. That's when they do the investigation with that request. If you send that request in, that takes months at some point. It will be useless. You will probably miss your flight. Plus, if your passport isn't canceled, they don't have anything to investigate. Now, a little bit of the scary part is there is no way to lock your passport. So if you were to check and then all of a sudden it was labeled lost or stolen after checking, there is no way to stop that. The best way that we can mitigate that at the current moment is to call that National Passport Information Center.
Okay, so that is it for this video. What do you think? Do you have a passport? Have you checked on your passport? Have you gone out and all of a sudden when you're at the airport or somewhere, oh, it's lost, it's stolen, blah, 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 and you don't have a valid passport? Is this something that you see happening in the very near future? Because tensions are rising all over our country. There are people who are really scared that a civil war might break out in our country. We see what's going on in Minnesota. Okay, we saw what happened to Renee and many more. And the tensions are rising. And I don't know, some people think martial law might happen. There are people, I've seen people who said, look, we left America way before this because we could see what was coming. Do you feel like more people are going to try to leave America? I don't know. I guess they're going to Thailand, Colombia, Mexico. I'm not sure. All over the place. And I've even heard of celebrities who have moved out of the country a few months ago. They don't live here anymore. They said, oh, no, we're not going to be here while Trump is in office. What do you foresee? And do you think that these people are making up lies that their passports were no longer valid? And people saying, oh, our government is trying to keep us from being able to leave, like North Korea type of situation. I don't know. This is something new that I just heard online. A lot of people are making these videos saying this happened to them. And I can't say that they're making it up. I don't know what happened with that situation. And if we see a growing number of people saying this, more than what we're seeing now, then yeah, I think it's fair to say something's up if you see something like that. And yeah, this is not the case for everyone. Not everyone is having this issue. But when you saw this video, did it make you, how do you feel? Do you feel you need to get a passport if you don't have one? If you had one, are you willing to leave the United States of America if things just continue to get kind of crazy up over here? I don't know. Let us know in the comments section. I just wanted to share this with you. Be safe and make sure you check on your passport. That woman at the beginning that I showed said there's a website you can go on to check if it's valid and what's going on. So just be careful out here. I just wanted to share this video with you. Please like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell. And I'll be talking to you all later. Bye, everybody.